Hello, I'm Crystal, and thank you so much for joining me on the Warrenist Live, where we celebrate the art, culture, lifestyle, and people of Warren County, North Carolina, and beyond. Now, before we get started, you already know what to do: like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, so we can continue to spread the word about all the wonderful things that are happening in our community. Our guests today are VJ Hunt, head coach of the football team, and TJ McRae, head coach of the basketball team at the Warren County High School. Thank you so much for joining me on the Warrenist Live today. How are you?
We're doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm doing good too. Thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, let's start off with where you grew up. VJ, I know you're from Warren County High School. I mean, Warren County, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Warren County. I'm raised here, uh, and I'm glad to be back here.
Okay. And TJ, you're from Mecklenburg?
Yeah, yep. So I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, um, and got to Warrington by way of my wife. So I'm here.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get back to that in a second.
All right.
So growing up, what is your fondest memory? Let's start with VJ.
Fondest memory, growing up. Wow, I have so many great memories. I think the greatest memories that I have was like as a kid coming to like the Friday night football games. Um, and those stuck with me. So I remember like playing recreation sports, and like always looking for that moment in high school, like the band, the crowd, the excitement. Because I came like I was a kid and kind of started to understand it, kind of like when Richard Austin was in school, Akita Banks, the Marvin Towns, Rashad, like Lamont. It was those guys were like they were like larger than life figures to me as a kid. So those are like the memories that I remember. The band was great. Whitehead had things rolling. And so those are my fondest memories. So those things kind of stuck with me, and hopefully, looking forward to getting it back that way.
Okay, awesome. So TJ.
It's tough to follow that. I wouldn't say fondest, but something that sticks out. It was either my ninth or 10th grade year in the AAU state championship in Greensboro. Not state championship game, but the tournament. I had my first game winning shot. It was a three. Step one drawn for me, but it got in my hand and knocked down the shot. But it was in the Greensboro Coliseum, so whenever I see it on, I guess I think about it a little bit. So, hit my first game-winning shot. That's a cool little memory.
Oh, I bet, I bet. Okay, so what type of students were you in school?
Uh-oh. You go first. So for me, I was a good student. I was good in the sense like I had a 4.0 weighted GPA. I try to do. Yeah, I did. Good job. I try to do what I can. I didn't believe in homework, so I would do everything running so I could just do basketball, everything else I was involved in, and but see, discipline was a little bit of it. I was good in the house. I had my issues in school here and there, but I never had to worry. My mom never had to worry about the books. Never had to worry about the books.
Right. Okay.
In school, I was a good student. I think. I mean, I ended up graduating like a 3.0, 3.2. I think that's pretty decent, right? That's pretty decent.
Right. Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of mad at myself because I was one of those people that like I'm just gonna do enough to get by initially, like in school, all through schooling, and now I look back like I wish I would have gave more effort in the classroom. A lot of things came natural to me, so I didn't have to like go home and study. I don't really remember doing homework, or having to struggle doing homework. So I got pretty good grades, but I probably could have been a lot better. I did what I felt just enough for my parents to be satisfied. Like, but I wasn't the person like if it was an extra credit assignment and you can choose to do it or not choose to do it, I'm like, well, no, I'm not gonna do it. And so not the greatest student, but I mean, I wasn't a bad student, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, because I've always wanted like people who enter like the education field, like how are you as a student? What motivated you to become an educator? Were you a great student and you wanted to, just follow, or if it was like a family thing where it was like my parents were educators and then I became an educator, or maybe like you had a horrible teacher and it's like, well, I'm gonna be a teacher and I'm gonna do much better. So I always wondered like how did that go, you know? But so where did you all go to college?
I went to the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, UNCG.
I went to Western Carolina out of high school, Western Carolina University High School, but then I ended up transferring to the University of West Georgia, in Carrollton, Georgia. That's where I graduated from. Got my degree in business administration and management. Some of the best times there in my life.
Okay, so talk about some of those times, those experiences
I
that
played.
you can talk about.
Yes, yes. Well, I think just being away from home was a good thing for me, and just being able to experience the world. That you know how it is growing up in Warren County. You live in a bubble, and so sometimes being in that bubble, you're protected, right? You know you can always go to this aunt's house, or you can always go to somebody comment. You can go to your aunt's house and get a meal, or you can go to your grandmother's house here, or you got this person cooking. When you're in Carrollton, Georgia by yourself, you don't know anybody. Like, it forces you to come outside of your bubble. I think I became a lot more social there. Being in there, the business school there, it taught me so many different things. And then I was a college athlete as well. So playing football and having to manage my time there, I mean, it was a great opportunity. I love my days in Carrollton. I don't get to visit as much as I would like, but that's kind of like my second home. Well, Georgia's kind of like my second home. I have a group of friends that I talk to there every day. So Georgia's great.
Okay. Now, growing up, did you see yourself taking this path? Becoming an educator, becoming a coach. Did you see that?
You go first, go.
No, not a chance. I had a teacher, my 11th grade English teacher, Miss Jennifer Gunn. She used to give me a hard time, but that's my all-time favorite teacher. She used to always say, "You're not gonna grow up and say you want to be a teacher." I know she says it's very rare that people, do that. So I love coaching. I started an AAU program about 3 years ago, and that gave me my first taste of coaching here in Warrenton. It went great. And through the opportunity, I actually heard about the head coaching opening here in Warren County. So I pursued that heavily. And those that may not know, in order to coach, you have to teach. So I did what I had to do what I wanted to do. But now that I've, been teaching going on year 3, I love it. I see what Ms. Gunn was talking about now. Even my students now, they'd be like, "Why you moved from Charlotte and come to Warrenton?" I'd be like, I found what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I think that's one of the keys of life is figuring out what you want to do, what your passion is, and what you're willing to do for free. And if you get paid for it, that's pretty cool.
I think I have a very similar story. Obviously, I mean, I was in school for business. That was going to be my thing. And I guess what changed for me is I got an opportunity to coach while I was in Georgia, and I went to coach as like a volunteer coach at Osborne High School in Cobb County, and just absolutely fell in love with it. They offered me a position. So I went there in the summertime as a volunteer coach, and then they offered me a position. I'm like, well, I'm gonna drive up here every day. I might as well get paid, right?
Right.
And that's kind of where it started. And then I started to realize, because I would never admit growing up that I like kids, like that I enjoy working with kids. That was one of those things, like, I can't stand kids. People always say those things, especially when you're growing up. I can't deal with nobody else's children. And then you start to realize, like, you know what, you enjoy it. You enjoy the challenges of helping and being a part of and making an impact on the youth's life, because somebody made an impact on my life to get me where I am, and I kind of want to be able to reach back and give that same thing. And so, when the opportunity came open for me to move back to Warren County, I sat back and I really thought about it. Like, I'm helping kids that, in Cobb County, where they have an abundance of resources. They have, the world is there. They get an opportunity to experience some things. I want to make a difference in my hometown. And so being able to get back into Warren County and being able to kind of share the things that I've witnessed and seen, and, share it with a kid that may not have been outside of here, and let them know that the world is big, and being able to help them, that meant everything. So that's how I got into teaching. It was an opportunity to get back. And then I realized I like kids. school. I work. So,
I already
Right.
see myself doing that else.
yeah, I think I'm hooked too.
Yeah, but I think that's absolutely wonderful that you say that, because you really had the option to go elsewhere, but you chose to come back to Warren County. So much respect for that. I greatly appreciate that. So there was this thing I saw on social media. It was a question that was going around. It said, what grade were you in when you had your first Black male teacher? Did you see that?
I vaguely, because I feel like I talked about this before.
Okay. All right. Well, no problem. But so like for me, instance, my first Black male teacher was in sixth grade, was Mr. Gooseby. So that was my first. And so what they were doing, they were addressing that how there's a lack of Black male representation in the education field, especially in earlier years, like elementary, middle school. So I want to ask you a question. When was the first Black male teacher that you had? And also, what do you feel is your role or your impact as an educator?
So for me,
As a Black male.
it was seventh grade, Mr. Hopkins in social studies, one and only, one and only one I ever had. And then the second part of your, well, you can answer your, you had your.
I think my first Black male teacher, I'm trying to think, it might have been sixth grade band, Mr. Long at the middle school. I think that was his name. That was my first, I think it was my first in sixth grade.
Okay.
That was Mr. Long.
But to answer the second part of your question, I think it's important for, speaking from like young Black males, to see, see someone that they can relate to, being not too far removed from high school, and just, like I said, something that we can relate to what they're going through as well. I think it helps out with the ability to connect, to get them motivated to get their work done. Because I started off in math, and obviously here in Warren County is predominantly Black school. Had a lot of Black males who had to focus them from a discipline standpoint and find ways to get them motivated to get eager to get excited about doing math. And we all know how hard that can be these days, because you get questions like, when I'm gonna use this in real life, I don't need to know this stuff. Why is it letters combined with numbers? So just finding different ways to connect with them, and just creating it simple nights. Like sometimes you gotta do, the goal is to graduate. In math, you need 4 of those credits to do that. So it's just a matter of doing what you got to do what you want to do, graduate. And like Coach Hunt said, get out of Warren County, always, come back visit, but experience the world outside of Warren County. And I think kids get that more if it's someone that they feel like they can relate to, or someone that they feel like they can connect with in that sense.
I think, just to kind of piggyback off what Coach says, I think that one of our big role here is that we are relatable. We look a lot like the kids that walk through the school. Obviously, we're a little bit older, but from our hair, we listen to some of the same music. Our trends in dressing is similar. So to be able to look at they're able to look at somebody that they can almost be, and so it's important for us to set that positive, a positive example.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what my life would have been like, if I didn't have, because fortunately for me, I was able to meet people like Arkita Banks and, Coach Mosley and, Lamont Seaver while I was in high school, and they weren't too far removed from my age group, but those guys were people that I saw that I could relate to, that, that they set an example. Like, they played college football, and I wanted to do the same thing. And so I'm like, yo, you play college football, you can tell me about it, you look like me, you're from here, so it is possible. And so I think that's the thing that just Coach and I were able to relate to the kids, and we can meet them almost where they are, and understand kind of what it feels like to be a teenager and young adult, and what you're going through. We're not too far removed.
Okay, that's excellent. And actually, just to go back just a little bit with TJ, where he talked about coming from Charlotte to Warren County, says basically you fell in love with a Warren County woman. So can you just real briefly talk about that? How'd you meet?
I got you. So yeah, my wife Ashley, we met our sophomore year of college.
Okay.
Freshman year, I had hair. She ain't like my hair, so She really wasn't giving me no attention. But sophomore year, I ended up cutting it and decided to talk to her one day. I got word. My roommate, my college roommate, one of my best friends, he's from Weldon. He was like, everybody from 252 like Applebee's. so I took it to Applebee's. The Applebee's right there. That's what it said. And so I took it to Applebee's.
I used to work at Applebee's.
I took it to Applebee's, and the rest is history. But after graduating, I moved back to Charlotte to where I took my first job and ended up deciding to come back to Greensboro for a little bit. But then my mother-in-law wanted my brother-in-law Andrew to have a good experience for his last year playing AAU. So she approached me about coaching and helping her start an AAU program called the NC Raptors, which we practiced in John Graham right around the corner, because she wanted Warrenton to have an AAU program, didn't want the kids to have to go to Henderson or Oxford. And so ultimately, like I said, pursued the teaching and coaching position here in Warren County, and me and my wife relocated back to Warren County. So I was familiar with the area, but now I feel like a local almost now.
He wear Crocs now.
Yeah, oh yeah, I wear Crocs now. You know, got my first pair of Crocs. You know, I didn't know what Crocs were, so I came here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Shout out to Crocs. Okay, so all right, so back to being a teacher and a coach. As educators and coaches, and we actually kind of touched on it a little bit, what lessons do you instill in your students and athletes?
So, I mean, number one, like, it's a classroom rule, it's a team rule. I'm not really big on excuses. I feel like if there's a will, there's a way. That's with schoolwork, getting better, going to the weight room, anything whatsoever. It's in life, you're gonna have to figure things out. I have a saying: you either fold or you quit. You either fold or you figure it out. And I like to figure it out. Actually, no matter what it is, it's my goal to instill in my students, like, life gonna throw you curveballs. It could be this math problem. It could be this Microsoft Word assignment. It could be, you got to go home and you want to go outside, but your mom said you got to do the laundry real quick, fold the clothes. You got to do what you got to do sometimes to do what you want to do. And I try to practice what I preach. Some of the coach alluded to earlier. I try to lead by example. I'm not perfect. And I express that to my students. I express that to my kids. Like, mistakes are going to be made, but you got to try to mitigate those mistakes as much as possible and learn from them. It's either a loss or a lesson. So have more lessons than losses.
I think the big thing that I preach is just accountability. That's one of the big things, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the football field, in the hallway. Like, one of the big things I always say for my athletes is just being accountable for what you have. Like, if you're gonna miss practice or you're gonna be late for school, contact someone, let them know. I try to always draw the parallels between the real world and whatever I'm doing. And so, everybody's gonna have to be accountable to someone at some point in their life. And so that's kind of just my big thing. And you may not like going to math class, but it's your job to go there and give your best effort. Right? You may love playing football. Playing football is your love, but you have to pass math. You have to pass English. You have to go to that science class. And you may not like it, but you have to be held accountable for what you're doing in that classroom in order to get what you want. So it's kind of those parallels that we always try to draw, whether it's in our classrooms or on our respective teams. And accountability is my big one. Like you said, excuses, I don't like them either. If you make a mistake, mistakes happen. I feel like I always say it, make new mistakes. Mistakes are okay to make, but just don't make the same one. Because then that tells me that it's not a mistake at that point. Make new mistakes, and accountability is the two big things that I preach.
Yeah, those are excellent lessons. I mean, and those are things that you will apply every single day of your life, regardless of what path you take, what career, whatever. Being accountable, and look, not being afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely. So now your teaching style and your coaching style, is there any difference, or are they the same?
It can cross over.
So Yeah, like Coach said, if you cross over, I have a switch, and that's something we talk about with our students and players too. Like you got to have a switch because, I'm way more relaxed in the classroom, but still high energy. I like to bring the energy everywhere I go. But it's a distinct difference. I get joked about a lot from my students to the staff here. But oh my God, I didn't know you could get like that. I'm not come to a Warren County basketball game because I black out. I just you can't fake the passion. So I'm just myself. But to answer your question, it's some similarities, but I think it's a lot of differences too, though.
Definitely a difference. That's a good question. That's a great question. That's an amazing question. It's definitely a difference. I will say this: if I have one of my players in my class,
it's the same.
You see Coach, you see Coach VJ as opposed to Coach. Like you're gonna see what you'll see out on the field if they're not doing what they're supposed to, or if it's a kid if we have a kid that messing up in classes, it happens, right? I'm not gonna get as loud, but when I get you in that hallway, now I become coach, right? And it's you have to be held accountable for what you're doing. And typically, that my classroom, it's still some of those same principles, but you're not gonna do up downs in the classroom or run on, so but I'll say this: I've never had a discipline problem in my class. Yeah. So, I think that's something, and it's just I think it is a mutual respect and those things. But yeah, it's definitely it's different.
First time being asked that.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we were just talking about in the classroom, on the field, the court. With the pandemic going on, how does that affect practice and being in the classroom?
So last year was obviously tough for everybody. So everybody went through the same thing. But something that's big for Coach and myself is film. And we weren't able to come to the school for practice. We practiced in the John Graham, so we didn't have access to film. We did study hall 2 years ago. That's something Coach and I started here with our programs to help the kids out before their practices. We were able to still do that a little bit, but it was difficult. We had time constraints. So that's just from the academic side of it. And then from a basketball standpoint, obviously playing with masks, that was an adjustment in its own. I'm for the most part I was just coaching, but we play just as much as we coach. So getting the players adjusted to that, acclimated to it. We just had to drill in their head like, all right, this is like your basketball shoes now. So if you forget your mask, it's like you're not prepared for the day. But honestly, I'll say after 2 to 3 weeks, it became kind of routine to. I don't have a mask on. I got comfortable playing with the mask. It was just the norm for me now. And I seen that instilled with the guys as well. Of course, it took some time, but it was definitely an adjustment. But the biggest challenge was, like I said, just watching us learn from our mistakes. We had a little bit of some struggles last year, and I wanted the guys to see where we could improve, but we weren't able to do so because we didn't have access to all the equipment that we needed. So that was our biggest downfall last year due to
COVID. For us, COVID was tough because Coach and I always talk about when we left off, where we left off. We had both came off of 2 big wins. And our momentum for our programs, the trajectory was trending up. I mean, we had guys in the weight room, guys wanting to get better, guys hungry for more. We had guys making honor roll grades were great. Things were just trending in the right direction. And so the day that they sent us home, we had practice, but they told us kids had to go. And I was like, why do we have to, because we didn't know we were entering into a global pandemic. So kids were like, I don't want to go home. I want to stay after. I want to get this work in. And so to see the kids like kind of upset because they couldn't practice, it was like, I think we reached them, him and I talked about it that day. And then shortly after, you go from that to, everything is shut down. Everybody's at home. We're not knowing what's going on. And so I think it kind of just put our momentum at a halt. And it was tough to kind of get guys back going because they sat for pretty much the better part of the year. And, with kids not being in school, a lot of the times, what school provides for a lot of our kids is transportation, provides structure, and then food, like all of the struggles that we have in Warren County. School typically, can help out with those things, but getting them to practice was tough because a lot of people's parents are working during those times, and then to have practice at 4:00. Now mom got to get off work early, or may not have anyone to pick them up, or it's just those challenges. And then a lot of our kids are sitting home all day. I'm on class for 20, 30 minutes. Now I'm gonna lay down, and it really just kind of just threw off the whole rhythm of what was normal to us. But we adjusted well, and I'm glad that we're kind of coming out of it. I'm excited about what's to come in the next phase of what we're looking to have. So the pandemic definitely affected us, but I think that we persevered through it, and I'm excited for where we're headed.
I will say this though, Chris. So I do think the pandemic, even again from an academic standpoint in athletics, like I feel like a lot of our players aren't taking it for granted because it can be taken away just like that.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've been preaching before COVID. Whether it just be an injury, just seize the day. Take advantage, get 1% better every day. If you can practice. Don't take school for granted because we both worked during summer school. Kids was like, they looking forward to coming back to school. Kids waiting to do that last assignment before they graduate.
They didn't want to finish summer school because they didn't want to go back home. It's like, look, I've been at home. I'm gonna hold off on this last assignment until the last day, just so I have a reason to come back. And myself, I don't take it for granted no more because like Coach said earlier, I enjoy working with the kids. I feel like I'm the best version of myself when I'm working with my guys, when I'm working with the students. So it was kind of weird coming into an empty classroom, talking to a TV. It was just weird. So I don't take teaching for granted, coaching for granted, and I feel like our players and students feel the exact same way in a sense.
Right, and that really states a lot. You said they're waiting to do that final assignment so they can continue to come back. Just get back into the routine of it, and then you're providing, like you said, the structure. You're providing a healthy environment because you don't know what they have going on at home. Providing food, so I can understand that definitely. Well, okay, and this was actually a question that was submitted. Being successful in athletics, does that turn over to being successful in the classroom?
I think so. Absolutely. Because I think success breeds more success. And that's the thing. If you've never experienced success, you don't know what it feels like. You don't know the gratification you get from doing something right. And so I think that, success in athletics builds school morale. Success in athletics builds school discipline, school pride, all of those things that you need in order for someone to do well in the classroom. What they get when it comes to sports. I may not play a sport, but if Friday night I go to the game and my team beat Vance County, I feel good about wearing a Warren County shirt. I feel good about being from here. I feel good about walking into this building and seeing those guys that I'm in class with, and they're doing their work. They feel good about themselves. So I definitely believe that success on the playing surface, or whether it's the band or whatever you are part of, it just success breeds more success. Sure.
Yeah. I definitely agree as well. Because in order to have success on the field, on the court, you got to practice. So I feel like if you got that mentality, I need to work hard, I need to put in some extra time, get some extra shots up. Same thing with math, English, history. If it's a formula that I'm struggling with, maybe I need to do 5 practice problems so I can get ingrained in my head, so I can become great at math. Just like I can become a great basketball player if I spend an extra hour after practice getting up shots, working on my ball handling. So I just think school, sports, life in general, it all coincides. If you work hard to attain something, you can attain it.
Mm-hmm.
Just put in the time, put in your, what is it, your 10,000 hours. Put in your 10,000 hours.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Okay, so and just to get back to the teams though, since there are 3 high schools,
Mm-hmm.
how does that work as far as having players? Can you get them from other schools, or do you have to stay at the high school? How does that go?
They are allowed to participate. So, I have on the football team, I have 3 kids that attend early college. I had, I think, 2 that attended New Tech. I guess the tough part about it for us, the challenge is just being able to be there with them, be in the building with them. I do think that, it's tougher to recruit, because it may be 100 or so kids over at New Tech that they don't know Coach VJ Hunt from a can of paint, and unfortunately, I may go over one day to say, hey, we're having football practice. They're like, oh, okay, cool, great, I want to play. But it's different when you walk the halls with them, you see them, you good morning, everything going okay, and then they get to really like authentically know that they want, that you have a genuine interest in them participating. And so I think that is the one challenge that we have, is that I know for me, I mean, and probably the same for you, is that we just don't get an opportunity. It's a whole group of males or athletes out there that we don't get to see on a daily basis, and it's tough for us to recruit from those schools. But all in all, I mean, our kids do a great job of, trying to get the word out to those other schools and saying, hey, man, coach, I know a guy. And I'm like, well, give me his number. Let me talk to him. And so that's kind of what we have to do, but it's still different when you're not actually in the building.
I think Coach Hunt took the cake with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he clear, concise, right to the point.
Okay. Also, okay. So I recently saw a video on, I think it was on Facebook, where the interim superintendent, Keith Sutton, spoke with the football team. And it seemed like it was well received. Do you have any type of support from like the administration, athletic director? How do they feel about sports with the teams?
Well, first off, Mr. Sutton, like I had to personally thank him just for coming out, just to show support. I think that meant so much to our kids. It meant a lot to our kids because I don't think they've never seen that happen. He came out to practice. I think it was like the first day. So that set the tone right there. And he comes out, he speaks to the kids. He's just himself. He's just himself. It wasn't like I'm out here no, he was just himself. He talked about sports. He was familiar with some former Warren County athletes. So definitely him coming out there, that meant everything to our kids, it meant everything to our coaches. We definitely, I feel like we're supported. I think that everybody wants everybody, administration up wants us to be successful. So I can't say that we're not, I do believe that we are.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, like I said, last year was tough due to COVID, but for the most part, yeah, we definitely feel the support. We essentially, it's for the kids, and I feel like when people see our passion that we have in our respective programs, not even just our programs, like just yesterday, I had on the volleyball team, being a setter, doing our. I just want to see all these athletes here at the high school, early college, New Tech. We just want to see them be successful, and the staff sees that as well. And Coach Hunter and I help bridge that gap a little bit because some people, may not be as connected to sports, but when they hear about how we express how that's important to the kids, the staff will meet them halfway. They'll come support little Bob, little Johnny, see how they're doing. And I think, again, seeing our passion, people are willing to help us out in the community, here at the school. So I do feel, I definitely feel the support. I'm sorry, Chris, I'm laughing at it.
You're fine. You are perfectly fine. Because is it a comment?
Yeah, man. What's up, man?
Yeah,
right.
Coach Jones, Coach Field.
What's going on?
Okay. All right. So, and I noticed that you've upgraded the facilities lately. So, can you tell us about that?
Coach.
So yeah, we looking forward to breaking into the new court this year. Volleyball will actually do that next week. They got 2 home games next week, so definitely come out and support them.
Yes,
Definitely looking forward to the first home basketball game. I think that'll take place after Thanksgiving, but looking forward to Warren County faithful back so they can see the new gym, they can see our new uniform. We got a lot of new things coming in hopes that we can compete this year, compete for a conference championship and fill the stadium out. That's just a big goal of mine, is to have my first sellout game this year. I feel like I haven't done that yet. So that's a huge goal of mine. So I'm excited to, again, have a quote unquote ribbon cutting ceremony.
Right. I got you. Because I saw the pictures. I was like, ooh, shiny. It just caught my attention. I was just scrolling. I'm like, what? So they look really nice. I was like, I can't wait. So are there any key players that you have coming back this year?
Well, that's football. Since I say, oh yeah, definitely. I'll start with Jay Gould, great player.
Dudes, man.
Number two. Yeah, unfortunately last year he broke his foot, so he wasn't able to play in either. He plays a two-sport athlete, football and basketball, very big piece of the puzzle. And without him last year, having him last year, I think definitely would help us out a lot. I think I always say to him, it's kind of like a blessing because now he appreciates the game a little bit more. Have to go through COVID right before your season, you break your foot in just a workout, right? You break your foot in a workout, no contact, just an unfortunate situation, right? And so now the thing he did from that point forward, he's worked hard every single day, doesn't take anything for granted. He tries to get every rep, and I'm super excited about him. Leslie Williams is another 3-year starter. He's a massive kid, worked hard. Amante Jordan, I'm excited about him. These are all kids that, 2 years ago were sophomores, starting on our team as sophomores, and they took their lumps. Shaquille Hendricks, they all took their lumps 2 years ago, but they stayed the course. They fought hard. They, never lost track of, what the goal was. And so now that they're in their senior years, I'm expecting them to have a big season this year. I think a few of them have opportunities to play out on the next level.
And to follow up, like you said, Jay Gould, again, faces adversity last year when he broke his foot, so he missed all of his junior year in basketball, and was looking forward to that because he had a decent sophomore year. He started the majority of the season the sophomore year. We were able to get to the second round of the state playoffs. So I was looking for him to play a huge part for the team last year, and from a leadership standpoint as well. So Jay, welcome back. Jeremy Daniel, he faced some adversity last year, wasn't able to play, but he worked hard and was able to come out and compete for us again this year. And then lastly, one of the juniors, Rocky Carter. He's been working very hard this offseason, doing an amazing job in and out of the classroom, and just been dedicated to the grind. So those would be the three key guys I say you can keep an eye out for this upcoming season.
All right, absolutely. So I've noticed that you all developed some partnerships within the last couple of years. Like the first one that pops in mind is was it Big Sports TV?
Yes.
Yeah, so can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, shout out to Jay and Big Sports.
Jay and Big Sports.
Honestly, he made the year last year kind of. I'm about to say shout out to COVID, but not shout out to COVID, but because of COVID, we were blessed to meet Jay because he wanted to stream our games. So parents were able to still see their kids. My family in Charlotte was able to see me in action. If I couldn't make a football game, I'm able to watch the football game because he did all of our home games. And I mean that man works hard. I don't know if anyone's ever seen him. He's always toting his equipment by himself, working hard.
Wow.
We're asking him what he needs. He says he got
I'm good. I got it. That's his thing.
And earlier this week, he did media day for the football team. The first time that's been done since I've been here, and the seniors were excited about that.
Cool.
Jay Big Sports, he's continuing this year. He's going to stream he might be Advance County, but all of our home games, we stream for free. I don't know how that man does it, but he's a huge blessing to the Warren County program for sure.
Absolutely. That is awesome. Yeah, because that's why I caught it too. I was like, what's going on? Who is this?
Yeah, I
appreciate it. So I went and started following. I was like, I greatly appreciate it. For the times I can't be there or what. Hey, shout out to Big Sports TV for real.
And I like the fact that he gets our kids, like he gets the kids that aren't playing involved. Like that's the cool thing. We have people, a lot of our student athletes are volunteering to work with him, and they're learning about the media side of things. I think it's really cool. Like I love it. I went home and watched our game on Facebook, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And I mean, they commentary everything. I mean, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. I really do. And while we're on top of like partnerships, like a partnership with the community, what can the community do myself, all of us, what can we do to support the teams?
So right now, we've just kind of started a campaign that Coach and I kind of spearheading for just signage and sponsorships. And I can get you the information sent over. We visited a few businesses and they've been great in wanting to support. We don't turn down help in any kind of way. And I know, some people say, well, we never know how we can help. I think it's a place for everybody in this community. If you see a fundraiser or something going on, support it. But the biggest support, honestly, is just coming to the game. Just coming to the games, posting the schedule. Because for us, our kids, it means so much to our kids if they can go out to a stadium that's packed. And we're trying to do some things game day wise to make that game day experience important. Because I think it's a two-way street. If you're going to take time to come out to a game, you want to enjoy it. Obviously, we're working our butts off to win those games. But, even if it's not a win, we still want it to be a win in terms of when our fans come out, that they have a great time, that our kids feel supported. And I think that, that's the biggest thing. Just come out. As many people in the community come out and support us. You can give financially, that's great. But to me, a lot of times cheering is just as good because it means so much more to our kids.
Yep. And like Coach said, it doesn't always have to be monetary for the support. It comes to the games. I think that's the quickest and easiest way. Excuse me, for sure. Whether it be someone volunteering their time or I know these days our athletes love their pictures being taken. Someone can surprise them one day, but hey, got these pictures. It's so many different ways. If it's something that someone is interested in doing, they can easily get in contact with Coach Hunt and myself, and we can game plan, brainstorm about ways that we can support.
And that's the thing. I know people are watching, but if there is somebody that's interested in helping, like I said, I feel like there's a place for everyone in this thing because obviously. But I can't do it. It takes a village, especially.
Absolutely.
We're a close, tight-knit community, and so having that sense of community within the school is definitely something that'll be great. And I think if it starts with sports, it can definitely go over into the academic side. And the more people in our community that get involved in this educational experience, I think it's going to make for our school to be better.
And we also want to get involved in the community as well. I think this was last week we helped small business in Warrenton move some equipment. And we brought 4 football players. He paid for their lunch and paid them for their services. We didn't tell them that. We didn't expect for him to do that. We just wanted to volunteer our time because time is something valuable that you can give, and it's free. So saying all that to say, we want to help out in the community as well. So maybe it's something we can partner up and do. But anyone that want to get in contact with us, feel free to do so.
Yeah. And then, like you just talked about with attendance, just being there, cheering them on and feeding off the energy from the crowd.
Energy is big. Energy is big.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so one last question. Oh no, you know what? I have one more. Before that.
We got time.
Okay, all right. Okay, just want to make sure. Like when you see like the products in the stores where it has like Warren County High School and it says like I gotta feel I know the answer to this. Does any of that money actually go to the school or
I honestly I don't know. I'm not gonna give you. I know that there is some kind of partnership. I don't know the details of it, so I can't give you an honest answer.
Okay.
I know that's something that that's something that we're talking about doing because apparel is a big thing, and I think that it's a sense of pride, right? Being able to wear your shirt to the game, wearing your shirt to the game. And that's something that we're trying to do. We're currently right now doing the sale of old uniforms, right? So if you're interested in it, just contact us. We did it we had a scrimmage last weekend. A lot of those jerseys are still for sale. So, we have that stuff. We're in the process of getting some apparel things printed up so that some of those some of that money that's spent can go directly back into the programs and helping our kids out, because that's what that's kind of, I think that's it's something that we haven't tapped into. We haven't tapped into, and I know a lot of people are interested in wearing Warren County gear, and we can make it as stylish as we need to.
Myself
We
included.
can get Warren County drip. We can get you that.
Just stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. We're working on it.
Okay, all right, good to know. I was curious because someone had asked before, and now I was like, yeah, I would like to know. I want to support. So the best thing to do, just go directly to y'all.
Go to the source, yeah. So
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a question come in from Charlotte. How can local businesses support you this season?
What's up, Charlotte?
What's up, Charlotte? So like we alluded to earlier, just in the sense of promotion, I know some of the businesses that Coach Hunter and I went around to, we asked to posting our schedule up on the wall, because again, the easiest way to support the kids is attending the games. So, a local could be going to get some ice cream, and they see they got a game this Friday and they attend the game. Like I said, we're offering sponsorship for signage.
Sponsorship for signage. That's what I would say. That's another, if a local business wants to do that. Just kind of how it works out. We have different level, and I'll send you. Can I send it to you, Crystal? And you might.
Yeah, send it to me, and I'll post it.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so with it is, it comes signage and advertisement for your business. 100% of the funds donated go to our programs. So with that, we offer in different packages. Some of it can be simple as we'll get you a sign out there for both football and basketball games. It's good for an entire year in the gym and at the field. So whatever events are taking place at the football field, whatever events are taking place in the gym, is visible. We'll give you different shout outs. If you're running different specials, you can contact us. We'll send you passes to the game. So that, to me, that's the best way if a local business wants to help us is going that way. And we, like I said, we visited some businesses. I'm about to enter into the season, so Coach McRae will probably be more the point man for that. Yeah. But definitely want to do that. Thank you, Alicia. Like all of it's popping up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't distract you. I just want to make sure you get some shout outs.
I like the informal.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so and we've touched on it in the entire interview, but what is your vision? What is your plan for this season?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Since
I'm up first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely want our program to grow. And when I say growth, I mean like all around. Obviously, we want to grow our wins. We want to grow how we practice, but we want to grow the interest in the sport. We want to grow right now we have about 45 guys. I want to be able to say next year we're at 60 guys, right? And I think that we're gonna grow our wins naturally. We're gonna grow in all those ways. So that's what it is. I want to see us grow. Ultimately, where I want to see our programs, I want us to see one of those programs that that they're contenders every year in state championships. I want us to be a hotbed at recruiting, where if guys want to pursue college careers in the sport, that they can feel like Warren County is a place. Warren County is a place that they can get it. It's been a while. I mean, we've sent a few guys out to college last year and the year before that. But I want to send 6, 7, 8 if that's what they desire. And if they don't desire to go to college, I still want them to be what they've learned from football and learn from being a student athlete to be able to go into the workforce, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, and they can be productive citizens. So ultimately, that's what we want. We want to win championships, but we want to grow and create good young men for this world.
Yeah. From a basketball standpoint, first and foremost, graduate all our seniors. Yeah. That's always on the top of the board. And then last year we didn't have our JV program, so bringing back the JV program. New head coach, Coach Brian Fuller. my assistant coach on varsity. But yeah,
my boy,
right hand man, right there. So excited for him to lead the JV program and us assisting those efforts. And then lastly, just to really want to get some more hardware because the kids are working hard. Kids working hard on the court, on the field, and I want them to see their hard work pay off. It's not always a guarantee. Sometimes you got to keep on, got to keep working. But it would be great this year to get a conference championship, to be specific, and get back to the state playoffs. I had a taste of that my first year, and I don't ever want to feel like how I felt last year about not getting to the state playoffs. So those would be the three things I think the goals for this upcoming season.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the first game is tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Vance County High.
Yes, everybody, every single person in Warren County, if you are able to be there to support us. I think that, our kids are fired up about it. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. It's going to be great. We want to create an atmosphere in our kids. We're going into what I call hostile territory. But the best way to ease that pain for our kids is for as many people in Warren County to come out and they can hear that cheering from their home. And that means everything to our kids. I think that'll give them that boost for sure. Yeah. Make it a home game for us. Yeah, make a road game a home game for us. Yep. That's it right there. That's the perfect way to put it. Good job, coach.
I'm trying, man.
Y'all great team. And then the basketball season starts, you said, after Thanksgiving?
So our first game is November 23rd. Our first two games are on the road, though. So
okay. Well, still support those as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, what's homecoming?
October 9th, I think. It's a Saturday this year. So that's another thing. Thank you. That's a good question. So we're doing something different this year for homecoming. We're trying to make homecoming for Warren County an event. Right, that's some new traditions that we're trying to start. Homecoming this should be on a Saturday at 2:00. So I know in the past it's been a struggle for people that may live in the Raleigh-Durham area to get back. You get off of work at 5:00, games start at 7, and it's like by the time I get here, it's gonna be halftime. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. You can take your time. We'll have some events that'll be surrounding homecoming. They're on the way. We're gonna release an official schedule here soon. We're trying to get school started, and then we're gonna go release everything. But it's gonna be on a Saturday at 2:00. We're gonna have tailgating. It's gonna be a big event. Like, we want it to be very similar to what you may see at a college homecoming. We want it to be a reunion. We know a lot of people in Warren County, they go off to colleges and they go see A&T's homecoming, the Central homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
And they may not even go to school there. They just go for the
right. Go for the experience.
Exactly. So we're trying to create that experience here at home. I think it'll be a great thing. So, there are no other football games in the area. There are no competing homecomings like with Central or A&T.
Right.
Saturday, we want as many people to come out to homecoming and just celebrate being from Warren County. Let's celebrate Warren County because it's a great place. I think we have a lot of great people, a lot of great graduates. I hope that everybody in Warren County can come out and be a part of it. I think it's going to be great. Sure.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all so much. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today. You have any other thing you want to add?
Just thank you,
Chris.
Thank you for reaching out like that. That means the world. Like that you want to spend an hour of your day talking to us, and all the people who watch. Like the people that watch, that's great. Like I appreciate you guys. Just wanting to tune in and listen to us without rambling answers. That I'm doing that.
Thank you for what you're doing, Crystal. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's great. You spotlight in Warren County. Like, you keep doing what you're doing. I think that is super dope. It's a thing that is gonna help grow us. So we appreciate what you're doing. I check you out. Yeah. I follow you. Anything we can
appreciate it.
Exactly. Anything. Let us know. Reach out. Don't hesitate. We're here to support. And
I have this recorded.
Anybody on here, if there's something we can do, come on now. I mean, reach out to us.
All right, absolutely, absolutely. So thank you both. Thank you for everyone tuning in. If you want to know more about what's going on in Warren County, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube at The Warrenist. We everywhere. Thank you again for tuning in, and everyone have a wonderful day and have a great season, guys.
Love y'all.